This morning, one story and one story all across.
Yes.
Train attack, El-Rufai carpets military. ACF laments, DHQ fails to deploy to Kano in Northwest. And the writers here says bandits territory known to troops. Bandits territory known to troops should be declared war zone. Nigeria forced to escort passenger trains with jets, says Amici. That.
Yeah.
Well, we'll come to it because,
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know the cost, the economic cost of putting jets to escort trains. I don't know. But how can people go from Kaduna to Abuja? They can't fly. They can't go by road. It's risky. This train was solving the problem. These trains are now under attack. I don't know. But it was a meeting between Governor El-Rufai yesterday and Rotimi Amici, the Minister of Transport, who was visiting victims of the Kaduna train attack at the hospital, 44 Reference Army Hospital, and then he went to El-Rufai's office. A very angry El-Rufai. He said it by himself that he's angry, he's frustrated, he's totally helpless. And he's blaming everyone. He's blaming the DSS, the security services. He said they have information. They know the phone numbers. They listen on the conversation of these bandits, these terrorists. They tell him.
So how come they don't do?
Yet nobody does anything. Nobody's proactive. These attacks always happens before they begin to rally. He said the Air Force carry out ISR regularly. ISR is intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance. Around those areas. They've never bombed. They're nothing. And why is this not happening? The armed forces should hit at this target. After all, they are no longer bandits that will cause human rights issues. They are now classified as terrorists. And they asked him, wouldn't there be collateral damage? He said it's a war. That's when he said the war
situation.
That place is a war zone.
Yeah.
And that collateral damage or not, the military just have to do what it needs to do. Kill them all. He's been saying this for years. I don't know why perhaps the military is slowing down on actively, hitting hard at this target. And Mr. El-Rufai is complaining that there's nothing the armed forces need that they probably don't have, in terms of intelligence, information. The DSS gathers a lot of info around this. He doesn't know why they're not hitting at them. And this frustrates him really, and that the period with the places, the distance between Regina, I think Regina is one of the railway outposts, and Qatar, where this attack happened, that it should be declared. I mean, they should put a military base there. That argument I'm sure will come against prevailing reason, because Kaduna again, another military base. You want to count the amount of military bases in that state alone, So it appears that everywhere there's a conflict now in Kaduna, put a military base. Would that be the solution? Because you cannot count on the fingers of your hands how many military bases, military formations, military units, military commands, in Kaduna State. Yet this happens constantly, all the time. Even yesterday, these reports are not, they are sketchy up till now, but there was an attack again in Zaria yesterday, around an area called Low Cost Housing Settlement. And it's unclear what has happened in that place now. People have died, a large number of people have been kidnapped. That's the latest. Kaduna, when it rains, it pours for that state, really. And I think that's why the governor is frustrated. You can see that he's powerless in terms of asking the armed forces, even the DSS, what to do. He just can't speak like he's speaking now, And Rotimi Amici agree with him that, yes, he agrees with him that a military base should be established along the Regina-Qatari axis. But it appears to me, if you ask me, this is putting a lot of the nation's resources, armed forces, in only one part of the country, when this crisis might likely erupt elsewhere. In Niger State, that you are just telling me that some people escaping bandit attacks enter an overloaded boat. They all drowned, and they've been buried. That's in Zamfara. It happens regularly. So concentrating a lot of the the nation's military resources between in Kaduna alone because of all these attacks, like deploying jets, to follow. I mean, it's a lot of resources. Are there options? The experts have to tell us. Mr. Amici again was insistent that at this moment that's what they need to do: put these jets in the sky to escort these trains as they travel between Abuja and Kaduna. There are questions about using drones. I was telling you, maybe they are fame, but it's real that we have drones that shoot missiles. That can an eye in the sky. They call them. They see these activities and they hit at them. I don't know why that has not been deployed yet. At this time, because you see the amount of money they spend in procuring military equipment. You wonder why they're not using drones. Why are we waiting for boots on the ground all the time? Who fights this kind of wars these days? The wars have gone technological. Mr. Amechi says if you get that equipment, the 3 billion equipment that's getting him angry. If you got that equipment, a lot of this will be curtailed. Ali Ndume, the senator who is chairman of the Senate Committee on the Army, was reacting to this incident yesterday, and he said he understands why Amechi is frustrated. Because in Nigeria civil service, it's a 5% industry. That until Rotimi Amechi bribes people for 5%, will not get approval. And Mr. Amechi was saying that he's not as if the money he was asking for approval for. Approval to spend the money is what he's asking for. The money is already in the ministry. Or maybe Chinese loan, I don't know. But the money was available. Just to get an approval to say, yes, you can spend this money, is why is what has not come that has delayed the implementation of this surveillance monitoring equipment that should be put not just on the Abuja Kaduna but also in Lagos Ibadan to prevent all of these kind of attacks. Like an eye in the sky to see what's going on, before the train gets there. The surveillance system tells you there's a threat in front, so they can attack and deal with this threat before the train gets there. I don't know really why we haven't done that in this country. The complaints are too much there because everywhere you go, some of these government officials don't like to speak. But once they open their mouth, you hear what will come out. Ali Ndume said it yesterday that Buhari government is full of 5%ers. He was speaking on Channels TV at night. He said it. Short of calling names, he said this is what is bringing this government down. This government that Ali Ndume is a member. He says 5%. Every contract is 5%.
5%.
Yes. There are the people there to say if you don't do it, if you approve it, they'll say, in fact, if you bring a proposal and the president even passes it and you take it to where you get approval, final approval, they'll tell you that send it to consultants so that they can get 5%. And delay things. It's such a mess, really. This is our main talking point this morning. We'll keep talking
about it. We keep talking about it. And one of the riders is also saying Reps film a service chief's minister failed to appear before panel. I'm sure we're going to see that in other dailies that we have here today. So let's move on to another headline here. This one is politics, and it's saying reports of stepping down for Atiku mischievous. Saraki Tambo Mohammed. Page 18, the Punch newspapers this morning.
So what's the consensus for? Someone has to step down for somebody. If they are all but I heard that the triumvirate of Bukola Saraki, Aminu Tamboa, Bola Mohammed, they have not met with Atiku Abubakar to discuss their option of consensus. Let's present one united candidate so that we can have the leverage against the APC in the general elections. If a consensus is not about stepping down, what is it about? Because we saw on the APC convention last weekend how a consensus forced people who had ambitions to drop it, all of them. There were 7 candidates who had paid for nomination forms to be chairman of APC. When the consensus agreement was reached, eventually 6 of them went on the stage, reluctantly, most of their faces, to say that I concede my ambition, I denounce it at this moment and support this man. So if Bukola Saraki is saying now that he's out of it, so what are they discussing in the consensus arrangement? Because if you look at the northern candidates in the PDP that want to run for president, of those 4 so far, and maybe more coming because you just told me now that Ayatollah Mohammed has also purchased the nomination form. The businessman Ayatollah Mohammed has also purchased nomination form. So 5. Who will step down for who? Between Bukola Saraki and Atiku Abubakar, who and Abwaziri, Tambuwal, who do you think will step down for each other? Let's just put those 3 as front runners there. In your estimation, do you think it's Atiku Abubakar will step down for Bukola Saraki? I don't think it's consensus agreement among them should work. They should all throw their hat in the ring and contest. After all, in the South now we are seeing a plethora of candidates. The former pharmaceutical boss, Sam Ohabunwa, Mazi Sam Ohabunwa, I saw him in Abuja yesterday. He has paid 40 million for nomination form. Sam Ohabunwa get 40 million.
The pharmaceutical boss, drug sell.
You put all your money inside for and then the Akwa Ibom State Governor Udo Emmanuel has also surprisingly, I did not think that I thought it was ongoing talks between them South governors to allow only Mr. Wike emerge. That looks like a spoiler right there for Wike. So like the southern candidates are also purchasing in the southeast. We're already seeing in Paris has taken the nomination from Peter Obi has. I'm not sure anybody is going to do consensus in that area. So in the North too should also allow an open playing field, because clearly Atiku Abubakar I don't think will step down for Bukola Saraki or Tambuwal or Governor Mohammed.
Why do you think I'm chuckling here?
Why are you chuckling? Have you not heard Atiku Abubakar say that this is his best chance to be president after President Balo? There's no stopping him.
Yeah.
At least until the primary happens. If he loses in the primary, we can say that, okay, they beat him in primary. What can he do? Maybe go to another party, a court party. I can't do that. That's if he loses in the primary. But if Atiku will not take part in this primary, I mean, you can see they can feel the the mood. Yeah. I don't want to use the word that Mr. Atiku Abubakar looks desperate, but he looks ready, at least for the PDP primaries. He looks like she's the front runner. I'm not promoting him, but based on activities that I have seen. So how he declared that the ICC and he's consulting, yes. And if some of the people who are consulting, who he went to consult and who shouted, yes, you are the man, those ones to have gone to the south and say we want South presidency. So I don't know really. You can measure this impact by yourself, Jacob.
Okay.
Did you enjoy this video? Hit the subscribe button for more, leave a comment, and like. Thank you.